I feel so ill right now. If this is mild symptoms, then who knows what severe is like. Anyway, what's that bit I say next? Oh yeah, roll titles. So usually in these videos you'd see footage of the car of the person in question driving around a track, but since I'm chronically fatigued from a bout of what we have to call coffee boy to avoid demonetization, it's talk or drive. I can't really do both at the minute, so unfortunately you'll have to make do with whatever B-roll I've got on my hard drive at the minute. Still, got my first coffee in a few days, so I'm feeling much better already. So, Bottas. A man who's been getting a lot of flack for being rubbish. But having been confined to a bed for the last few days and reading what's been said about him, it got me thinking about some parallels to another driver we will get to in a minute. Now recently Hamilton came out and asked for people to ease off him and called him a good teammate, this coming about a week or so after a few F1 drivers joined in with the football world to have a social media blackout in a bid to get social media outlets like Twitter and Instagram to do more to tackle online abuse and racial abuse to footballers. And a lot of people said the same thing. Well, of course he'd say that. He just wants a teammate that can't challenge him. Lulu just wants lucky championships and wins handed to him. Michael Schumacher said that Eddie Irvine was a good teammate. He also said that Rubens Barrichello was such a good boy. Yes, you're a good boy, aren't you? Yeah, you're such a good boy. I mean, it's said that Rubens is still owed 9 belly rubs and 2 trips to the beach. My point is, Schumacher had teammates that were way below his station. Webber was punted aside by Red Bull for Vettel, and now the same thing is happening with Max and Gasly, Albon and now Perez. Senna had Lotus hire an aristocrat to drive the other car because he was scared of Derek Warwick, so pretending that this is a phenomenon exclusive to just Lewis can be chucked out of the window. It also makes you sound stupid. Now Bottas isn't a terrible driver. Far from it. He's ever so slightly above average. This is the same Valtteri Bottas that put the 2013 Williams on the second row of the grid at the Canadian Grand Prix, while his teammate Maldonado was in 13th. Sure, rain affected qualifying, but you gotta be in it to win it. He's made to look terrible because of who is driving the other car, and that's Lewis Hamilton, a man who, best car or not, sets a monumentally high bar. And when you've been given a car that will, on paper, win you championships and all the race wins you can ask for, you're going to want to use the opportunity given to you to use that car to achieve what you want to achieve. But when you have the greatest driver of a generation in the same car as you making it all look so easy, you're going to overdrive and put too much pressure on yourself to succeed. And now it's showing. Which sort of sets him apart from the driver who I and others tend to compare him to. Everyone's favourite square peg in a round hole whenever he puts his helmet on, Osama Bin Laden himself, David Coulthard. Coulthard always talks about opportunity. I think it's his favourite word because he lobs it around all day every day. He admits he had a career because of Senna's untimely death at Imola, but still made the most of that opportunity to the best of his ability. And the key phrase there being, the best of his ability. Now Coulthard is very self-deprecating about his time in Formula 1. He knows he underachieved, but he also knows he underachieved because when he had cars capable of winning titles, he had a teammate that was better than him, Mika Hakkinen, and the guy driving the other car capable of winning the title was Michael Schumacher, a driver whose abilities surpassed them both. It's safe to assume that if you remove Hakkinen and the Michael from the record books, Coulthard has at least a 2001 title to his name, but coulda, woulda, shoulda. Coulthard knew he wasn't going to beat Hakkinen and Schumacher on a regular basis, but he could still beat them on his day. He gets a bad rep because he never won a world title, but he still has 13 Grand Prix wins to his name, which is more than many could ever achieve. It's more than Montoya, and Montoya is a driver that should have had more than the 7 he actually won. It's more than Jacques Villeneuve, and he's got a title to his name. Gerhard Berger has 10 wins. So Coulthard accepted his limits as far as talent goes and did the best thing he could do, be a team player. And this is something that people keep forgetting. F1 isn't a driving championship. It's an engineering one. The teams don't give two hoots about the Drivers' Championship, they care about the Constructors because that's where all the money is. The Drivers' Championship is a nice piece of bragging rights for the driver, but if the team only comes second in the Constructors, then the season's a failure. But the one thing that Coulthard had over Bottas is the key component that a driver needs. Consistency. Coulthard was also prepared to get his elbows out and not back out of moves, as well as being way more aggressive when the time came to it. See the famous middle finger salute that he gave to the Michael at France that one year. Now Bottas doesn't have that same mentality. He seems too scared of smashing up the car when another car gets near him, except for Imola of course, and he seems to decide which half of the race he's going to turn up for. He also seems convinced that he will win a title. That's great, dreams are important. But when your teammate is arguably the greatest of all time, and the other guy in a car capable of winning a title is Max Verstappen, again, both of those drivers being much better than you, then you have that same sort of Hakkinen and Schumacher-Coulthard dynamic of about 25 years ago. Except Coulthard knew where his limits were. But would Mercedes actually sack Bottas halfway through the season? No. There's no point. Unless he did something really, really stupid, and Mercedes isn't the team that would do such a thing. They're not Red Bull. They won't just sack a guy because he's not their guy. The Mercedes working environment seems far less toxic than the one supposedly giving you wings. There's no Helmut Marko lining up drivers and shooting them in the back of the head for not being Max Verstappen. So Bottas needs to do two things. One, accept that it's not going to happen, as the luck of the draw means it just won't happen. He won't beat Lewis Hamilton. Again, best car or not, the gulf in talent is just far too big. And if you are one of these people that thinks that he's being sabotaged to benefit Lewis and give him easy titles and wins, grow up. Yeah, did I mention I was ill? I'm grumpy. The second part of this is, wake the hell up and get the elbows out to stop yourself looking like a muppet when someone breezes past you for the 100th time. His defensive driving display against Vettel in 2017 is proof he can do it, so why the inconsistency? At Sochi, that is, when he won his first race. And I guess it must be demoralising to have a car that will help you achieve your dreams only to have two other drivers better than you take all the glory, but that's sport, I guess. You work, 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 work. I think there's a song in that somewhere, but there will always be someone better than you. Like I say, Bottas should just accept his limitations and just commit himself to the great number 2 he can be. Coulthard 2.0. And at the same time, people should just lay off him and stop pretending he's the first driver to be in this position. Because he's not the first, and he'll most certainly not be the last. It's not as if he's giving up 4 seconds a lap with brake problems like Irvine did at Austria 1998, or letting Lewis through at the checkered flag, is it? Again, not the first, not the last. Anyways, that's my thoughts on things. Sorry it's a bit hodgepodge together, but given the way I've been feeling the last few days, getting a video out is great news. So leave your opinions in the comments section and get a discussion going, because it is, after all, why I do this series. And while heading down to the comments section, why not like the video and subscribe so you get more like this delivered straight to your notification box. Massive thanks, as always, go out to the patrons of this channel via Patreon, and if you wish to join them or just join in the Discord stuff, all the relevant links will be in the description box for you. So until next time, I've been Aidan Millward, and I'm off to bed. Goodbye.